Everyone, and welcome to this edition of what I'm going to call a compositing thing. So this used to be like the 1 hour creation where I just go in and create stuff, but I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to showcase more or less kind of what I did in the past. So we recently just finished up a big project, which was this really cool thing on Instagram that we did where we composited a monster into Photoshop, and I had the artist Emmanuel came up to me and were like, "Hey, I want to do this really cool thing with this monster. Do you have a kid?" I was like, "I have a kid, and we can do this photography thing." So I got my daughter to do this really cool scene, and we composited this monster into it. And I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to create some artwork I can put on my wall. So I decided, like, I'm gonna go ahead and come back to this picture because it's cool. I'll pop that up here in just a second. Here we go. There we go. So I wanted to composite this picture a little bit differently. So this is, she's reaching out the balloon. It's like I'm giving the balloon to the monster. This is how we photographed this. This was photographed on an A7 II. So this is Emmanuel. He's got how tall our monster is going to be for reference, and she's kind of bringing out her hand with the balloon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to composite a monster into this, and yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So follow along in the stream. I hope you enjoy it. If you do enjoy it, please subscribe. Also, if you enjoy it, please, subscribe, like it, comment below if you like seeing this kind of material. And we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So I had already finished this one, but I want to go ahead and reset it completely. And I want to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to do a different look. So I'm going to just go ahead and jump into it. So where I'm in is I'm in Adobe Bridge. I just want to make sure that I'm in this correctly. Yep, there I am. I'm in Adobe Bridge. I'm going to turn this down just a bit that way. There we go. Okay, so I'm in Adobe Bridge, and we're just going to go ahead and start color correcting this to where it's got a cool look. There's that. And bring down the contrast a bit. Maybe I'll bring it up, pull down the highlights, because the way I photographed this, I'm not necessarily a fan. It was a insanely bright day that day. This is like, I think it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the sun was just beating down. It wasn't a phenomenal day. I mean, it was a beautiful day, but it's just straight daylight. There's no cloud cover. So it was really, really somewhat difficult to get a good even flat image. So that's what I'm kind of try to do right here. I'm going to try to flatten this out just a bit so I can maybe pull some of the colors in, and so I can maybe get some of this brightness out. I also had a couple of lights on her as well as a reflector that is going right on my daughter, and it's just not doing a whole lot, but we're going to try to get this thing back up and running to where it's got a decent look to it. That's all right. Let's bring in some color there, some of the temperature. Just give it kind of that fall-ish kind of look. Now, I don't want it too crispy, so what I'm going to do is, this was taken with this Zeiss lens, actually. So this is an 18 millimeter, so it's real wide. And I'm not necessarily a fan of the bokeh. Obviously, it's made for landscapes, but I only had an 18 and a 50 millimeter lens in order to take this photograph. So it's ultra sharp and ultra wide. So it kind of gives this creature some depth. So I'm going to try to bring in the depth of field back by doing a couple of things in Photoshop that will hopefully give it a little bit more of a finished look than what I had originally posted. Let's bring some of this saturation back up. And if you have any comments, please comment below. I can see them here in my monitor. So if you do have any comments, please feel free to chat me up, and I'll try to get to them as soon as I can. But if anything, please You can listen to the chill beats I've got going on in the background, and hopefully I won't get flagged because they are supposed to be copyright free because they're on YouTube. So hopefully I don't get flagged. That'll suck if I get flagged. Bring some of this up. This is actually the last photo shoot I took with my old A7 II camera. Oh, I had that thing for nearly 5 years, and I actually sold it for more than I purchased it for. So that's always a plus. So if you're not familiar with this is Adobe Bridge and Camera Raw. So this brings up every single little setting that you could possibly have in a color corrector, and it just really manipulates the raw image. Just absolutely fantastic. You can control every little color and aspect of the image. And it's just really a wonderful tool to use. I know a lot of people use GIMP and a lot of people use Lightroom, which Lightroom is technically would be the same as Raw because it has the same plugin because it's made by the Adobe people. But this overall is just an absolutely fantastic tool to manipulate the colors and the contrasts and really pull the image where you want it to go. Pulling those greens. So right now we're playing with the saturation. So I don't know if I want to be ultra saturated and go for kind of like a cleaner look or a really saturated blue look, or if I want to unsaturate and have that kind of more of a warmer look. I kind of want to saturate it up a bit. So pull that up. Luminance. I'm going to bring down the red luminance just a tad. Bring up my oranges here. Bring in some contrast with the yellows, as well as the green, because I like how this green string is going here. And pull this down a bit. It's dark. No, I'm not going to do that. That would be crazy. Maybe around over there. Pull that down. All right, cool. The next thing I do after using the color mixer is I literally just go down the line of all of these different things. So from the basics to the curves, details, and color grading. I personally love warm tones, so I'm going to pop up a warmer tone here. It just gives it kind of more of that ultra realistic kind of look. I almost go through every single setting on this thing just so I can really get a grasp of what this picture is going to look like. And that's virtually every single photo that I do. I try to go through nearly every setting to see how the photograph can be manipulated. I think it's just a good overall way of dealing with photographs, because I mean, you don't know unless you try. So I believe this is just how I like doing things. Let's bring in. So I don't want it really ultra contrast between lights and darks. So I'm going to bring down my highlights a bit, and I'm also going to again bring in some of that warmer tone, maybe a little bit more yellow. And shadows, I don't want too many shadows. Let's see here. Pull these in. Maybe bring in a little bit of green. That kind of brings a nice kind of look to it. If I do this, yeah, that kind of does. No, I don't like that. maybe just pull in a little bit of like cyan into the background there. That looks pretty good. And you can kind of blend these together. There we go. That looks good. Optics, I think everything is looking pretty good. So I'm not... So within the optics layer, what this does is it looks at the fringing. So where the lens is kind of capturing the colors off of the prism inside the lens. So you'll see like a weird tinge, like a green or a cyan tinge or a purple tinge. This one doesn't really have it. Since there's not a whole lot of aberration in the lens, so I'm going to completely move past that. Same with geometry. I actually like the way that I photograph the image. I'm right down the middle. I try to cut the difference between the height of the monster to the height of her, so I just kind of cut it down the middle. So I'm all right. But if you want to see what that looks like you can mess with the vertical, like you can make it look a little bit more tall. Actually, I might do that. I might try to make it look a little smidgen more tall. And yeah, I'll do one of these. Yeah, let's do that. That looks good. Kind of gives it more of that, ooh, this is a lot taller than I thought. So yeah, we'll do that. That looks cool. All right, and effects, don't need effects because I'm going to be pushing that all into Photoshop. And calibration, I really like messing with this calibration. It really messes with the overall look and feel of the image. The shadows, not too much. Red primaries. It's just another thing you can add on top of the overall look and feel of the image. My air conditioner kicked on. That's like the first time the air conditioner's been on all day. It's been super cold all day today. So one of the cool things, so I like adding a lot of color right up at the front and then kind of desaturating that color to get this ultra crisp, realistic look at the end. And then I pop it back into Photoshop and push those colors even further. So if you notice, I'm taking it and desaturating a lot of this and adding a lot more of those blues, a lot more of those greens, and taking away a lot of these colors, and it gives it the ultra realistic kind of look and feel. See that? So I added all those colors and I took some of them away, and boom, we've got this really cool ultra realistic look. And that's kind of where I'm going from. So I don't want to make this look completely fantasy like I did the last one. I want to give it kind of real but not real. So I hope you get what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this image into Photoshop, and I'm gonna go ahead and look at my stream here and see where we're going. Scene. Oh my gosh, I hope I was doing this correctly. Pop Photoshop back on. There we go. So now we're in Photoshop, and I'm going to pull this up. That way you can see my stream up here. You can watch the stream happening right there. I'm live. Boop. Nobody's talking to me. I'm going to talk in my sign into chat. All messages you send will appear. Oh, I haven't signed in. But I do have a viewer, so welcome, viewer. I hope, yeah, all messages you send will appear publicly. Even though I'm signed in technically, I'm not signed in. That's fun. Okay. So here we are in Photoshop. I'm going to drag in my monster here real quick. Actually, let's do this first. So I had bought this print, right? So I bought a canvas print from a silent auction, and I won it. So I've been wanting to create more art. And it's a 16 by 20. So I'm actually going to be 20. Let's do 21 by 17. 300 RGB. Create. So I won this this canvas, and I've wanted to do, and I've had it for like almost 2 years, and it expires, and I haven't even figured out what I want to do with this image and what I want to put on here. So I was thinking the other day, it's like, you know what? I did this really awesome thing with this amazing 3D artist, which this is Emmanuel. You can go and check out his artwork on Instagram. You can see that in the description below. His Instagram is absolutely filled with some of the most amazing things I've ever seen. I mean, he is straight up out of Hollywood. Like, if you ever have the chance to work with him, message him. He's an amazing artist, 3D artist. Yeah, so he created this amazing monster for this art piece composition, and I'm going to pull that up, and I got to rig it. So I rigged this entire monster, that way I could pose him, and I'm pulling it up right now. Where are you? Here you are. So here's our monster. Okay, so we've got our monster right here. It's a little bit smaller than I was hoping it was going to be. So the print. All right, so here's our monster. I'm just going to kind of push him to be a little taller here. So he's kind of bending over and going to grab this here balloon. So let's put it maybe closer like that. About right. Here. Now, I'm gonna have to skew this out just a little bit because I don't believe this is the correct aspect for him, so I'm going to try to fix the aspect. So what we have to do, we have to take out Emmanuel here. We've got to take out these people in the background here, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a depth map. So we're going to make this depth of field map, and we're hopefully going to create something that is just going to be a little bit more magical, and that's where we're at. All right, so let's go ahead and get to it. First thing we're going to do is take out all these people, and I hope you don't get bored. If you have questions, I'm going to log in real quick and see, sign in chat, open in web browser. Oh, okay, never mind. Nothing's going on. Okay, anyway. If you want to chat, please chat, and we'll go on from there. All right, so anyway, without further ado, let's take out some people. So what I normally do is I normally use the healing brush, but now I'm going to use my clone stamp tool. And this day was very busy. So unfortunately, there was just a ton of people. Everybody thought we were taking pictures for my daughter's birthday. I'm like, no, there's a monster here. I'm like, there's a monster? What are you talking about? I'm like, oh, we're doing a thing. Don't worry about it. There's that. Taking out people. All right, that was easy. Now on to this one. This one's going to be a wee bit more difficult. We've got a lot of shadows, a lot of things to deal with. Alright, what do I want to do first? Let's do this. Again, I'm using the clone stamp tool right here to take out all of these little things and try to correct the image as much as I can. Before I go into the healing tool. Hopefully I'll actually not even need to use the healing tool. A lot of the times the healing tool will bring in a lot of colors that aren't necessarily true to the image because it's compensating for detail. So I don't like to use it sometimes. I usually only use it on skin retouching, but I will use it a little bit on this one once I get everything brought into reality here. Also, if you're wondering, I'm using a Huion tablet. This is the Huion Canvas, I believe the 24-inch version. I love screen tablets. It's just like drawing on paper. And I actually personally don't like the paper texture that it comes with it, so I take it off. I like the glossy kind of feel. I like feeling like my pen could just glide across the screen with ease, and that's just personal preference. But you can use this with a Wacom tablet, obviously, or an Intuos, or really any tablet that you've got. There's the Bamboo and all that stuff. So yeah, anything will work. You can also do this with a regular old mouse if that's all you've got. If all you've got is a mouse, it'll work. Let's try that again. Don't want to go up too far as we'll get into some damaging stuff, as you just saw up there. So you'll see there's a lot of repetitiveness right here, and that's what I'm going to be using the healing stamp for, because it's going to take detail from other parts of the image and recreate that. So this is all about creating a base to be corrected on and then to be corrected over again. And I'm hoping there's music going on in the background, because hopefully it's not copywritten, because I would really like to keep this up. Yeah. What's funny is all this stuff that I'm taking out right now is more than likely going to be into the depth of field. Okay. So for some reason, my printer is now trying to do something. I haven't pressed print, but apparently my printer, what is happening, printer? Why are you starting to do things? I haven't pressed print. My printer decided to make some strange noises. All right. Go you, printer. Live your best life. But again, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now is just creating texture that I'm going to be flopping on top of later. So this is where it's going to start getting a wee bit tricky. So now I'm starting to get into all these trees, and I'll probably start moving my way down and then start making my way down through the body, because this is the easiest part, and the next hardest part is creating these trees and getting the trunks and all that stuff corrected. So after I get this finished, I'll start doing that. Here we go. you can see, there's a lot of duplication right here. A lot of duplication. All right, let's go ahead and start taking care of this dude. Okay, so trees are pretty easy, just for the fact that there's a lot of random things. And really, it's just all about finding texture and making sure that texture looks somewhat correct, because not a lot of people are going to be focused on your texture over here. And now that you know kind of how I do this, if you look back at some of my stuff, you're going to go, oh, well, there's that texture. That's how he got that. And you'll figure out how I do it. And then I can never hide anything again in any of my photos. So how's life out there in YouTube land? I've got one viewer right now. Let's see here. See, now I can just kind of start propagating texture here and there, and no one will ever know. No one will know. All right. Keep moving down. Now I can start pushing this texture through here, because it is literally just random brush. I can actually do like one of these. That actually looks awful. So let's not do one of those. It's starting to look real good. All right, and here's where we can also again start. Nope. I'm doing this, kind of bringing some of that texture back, because it's all random at this point. All just creating texture and blending, texturing and blending. That is all we're doing right now. So we've got texture here, pulling that texture, bringing some of that texture, and just make it as random as we can, so it kind of manipulates the eye to look at things differently. And again, we're going to go back over this with some other textures here. Let's do one of these real quick. All right. I'm giving away all my secrets. It's all right. I like giving away my secrets, because you know why? Because whenever you give stuff away, like how you do things, yeah, sure, somebody might get work that you should have gotten work, but you know what? That just means you got to work a little harder. And maybe somebody will create something that is so completely new and never been seen, and that would never happen had you not shared how to do something. That's how I look at things. I'm not really too worried about if somebody steals some, like a client from me or anything like that. I'm more worried about, let's create some really, really good art. And hopefully someone will know or notice, and I'll get some work, and somebody else will get some work, and we'll all just live happily ever after. Doesn't that sound awesome? I think that sounds awesome. All right, so again, we're just pushing all this texture on this tree trunk. That is not what I wanted to do. There's that, and I think I'm going to bring in this tree trunk right here like this. That way we put an end to that tree. All right. Here's Emmanuel. And what should we do first? Let's start from, again, the top down. So let's do one of these. There's that. Let's do one of these. What kind of texture we got there? We got this. We got this texture here. Let's kind of blend some texture there. Blend some of this texture in. There we go. All right. We got this tree. There. All right. That's some weird looking texture. There we go. So what I'm talking about is, so once we have this thing zoomed in, so this is about, so if you were looking at this digitally, you couldn't tell that there's stuff going on. You couldn't tell that. Now, since it is going to be a wee bit bigger, so this is at 100%, still, there's not a whole lot that you're at least I'm noticing that would be like, oh, that's fake. We need that. What a faker. But again, we're going to go back over this more to create that texture back. But so far, even without it, we're looking pretty good, I think. I love photo manipulation. Photo manipulation has been one of the things I have truly believe I haven't necessarily mastered, but it's one of my favorite things to do because not a lot of people do it. Not a lot of people have the patience for it. There are some excellent photo manipulators out there. I mean, that just do truly significant work. And God, it's just such a amazing time to be alive, to see so many people do like amazing things with photo manipulation. It's so cool. And then there are those people who just draw dicks with photo manipulation. And then, you know, those guys are their own heroes in their own way. You know, I mean, it is what it is. All right, let's keep moving. We've got a tree here. So we've got a bunch of trees here. This tree goes down. So we're getting into the skinny of this dark world here. So I'm going to bring, I think, this tree in right here. Up like that, and then bring the tree back down. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that'll be all right for now. All right, let's see here. We've got a man tree. You don't get between the man and his tree. All right. Let's bring this down. Try to get this tree all the way out. So I think this tree right here is actually in front of this other tree, I want to say. So I'm going to get some texture from, I guess, this tree. Bring that over a bit. And we're going to end that tree right here. I think I might actually bring in another tree because that is a lot of sky right there. So let's bring in this tree. So I'm going to bring this tree right here. I'm going to pull in just an entire freaking tree. That's what's going to happen. And that's where we're going to put that. And that blends right into that tree. So blam. Look at that. Let's blend this in just a little bit. And you would never, ever know that this technically wasn't here at one point. You'd never know. You'd never know. Unless you saw this live stream. And then you'd be like, dude, that guy's such a liar. Let's bring this texture back. Put that in there. Wham bam. Right there. Alright, so we have digitally taken out this dude. There is some things here that we will address, like this right here. But overall, this is looking good. Fun fact, this is all going to get distorted out anyway, so I'm not really too worried about it. Not really too worried about it. Okay, so let's let's see what this looks like with the monster in it, and let's just kind of keep moving on. Actually, I might just go ahead and keep going. All right, with the monster, that's cool. With this taken out, that's cool. See, look at that. Would never even know there was a guy there. That's a good shop, except for this little tree that's been added here. You'd never know. You'd never know. Except for maybe this thing right here. Hold up. I actually will take care of that because that does look a little funky. There we go. A little better. All right. Cool. So what we're going to have to do now is... Well, what I want to do is I want to focus on... What I'm going to do is I'm also going to take her out as well. But... Well, I'm going to kind of take her out. I'm going to... She's going to be in focus, but the background's going to be out of focus. There's going to be out of focus elements here. So that is the next thing that I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this, and I'm going to kind of cut her out. And that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this down, and let's do a mask. So let's put a mask on here, and then I'm going to invert my mask here. I'm literally going to do this. Alright, so pull her in. I want the balloon. I want this balloon. And that is all I want. Don't want anything else. So, mask her out. I like doing masks instead of using with the pen tool, just because I think it's going to be a little bit faster to do it this way rather than trying to focus on getting absolute precision with the pen tool. Since I can use my hand, it's going to be just so much quicker to mask this out, I believe. And if I'm a little too far from the microphone, please let me know. I'm trying to do a good mix of microphone in your face and not so in your face to try to figure out how to do this easily. I really hope there's not going to be any YouTube ads that float over this, because I'm going to do that real quick. Let's see this lo-fi beat. All right, cool. I'm going to just keep that up just in case. Well, I'll do it just in case I start seeing ads. Do not want to see ads because I don't have my headphones on. So I wouldn't be able to see it anyway. Now, one of the cool things about using the mask rather than using the pen tool is the fact that I can always bring it back. No matter what I do, I can always bring it back. So say if I mess up here, I can bring it back really, really easily by literally just making the mask more visible. But if you do it destructively by erasing or using the pen tool, it's not as easy to bring that stuff back. You got to use the clone tool, you got to use so many different tools to get all that information back. So masking, plus you can convert it to a smart object and it just becomes so easy to use. Photoshop is such an amazing tool to get used to. I've been using Photoshop since like Photoshop 2. Like, I'm talking pre-CS, whatever they called it. Photoshop 2, Photoshop 5. Like, man, I've been old school Photoshopping. So some of the stuff that I do is probably a little more old school than most people are used to tell you the truth. And I think I'm going to not worry about that right now because I'm going to have to bring that back anyway. So I remember Photoshop when they didn't even have masks available. That is how old school Photoshop I am. And maybe they did, and I just didn't realize it. Like that's also a thing. Because back whenever Photoshop 2 was around, man, I think I was like 13. Stealing software on LimeWire. Oh gosh, who remembers LimeWire? Dear Lord. Let's just do this. Also, if you're just now joining us on the stream, we are comping in a monster created by the amazing 3D artist Emmanuel J. Rodriguez. You can find his Instagram handle in the description below. So please feel free to check that out. He's got an awesome Instagram account. And he's been featured on several websites. Please go check his stuff out. It's really, really good. Also, my Instagram handle's on there too. So if I don't see my stuff blowing up, I'm gonna start getting mad. He has much more followers than I do. I'm not happy with that new Instagram algorithm. I've been trying so hard to get more people on. It seems like every time I upload, I don't even get a new follower. I've uploaded several amazing photographs that I've taken. Not one follower in probably like 2 weeks. Like, really? That's how the Instagram algorithm works? Just never going to have a follower. I remember uploading stuff and I'd get 3 or 4 followers every post. Now nothing, even though I'm on Instagram virtually every day. It's so hard. So what we're doing is we're cutting this out and then we're going to create a backdrop for it. And we're going to delete it. So we're cutting it out and deleting it all at the same time. That way we can use an isolation layer to create a fake depth of field map to pull together this image. Now I'm hoping to get it all done on this one stream, but this might be 2 streams. 2, because I think I've been going for about an hour now, and we're not even halfway done. It's the one thing about this workflow is it's cumbersome. Compositing takes a long time, and if you want a really good piece of artwork, it does take a bit to make happen. And sometimes you'll be working on something for days, and maybe it doesn't work. And then you try it and try it again. You just got to keep going. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That is life. I'm kind of taking a Bob Ross type of approach. Look at those happy little trees. You know what? They're not perfect. Neither are you. But we're going to do everything we can to make them as good as we can. Right? Bob Ross, such an amazing guy. That's one person I wish I would have met. Okay. Got no viewers on the stream. That's okay. Maybe one day I'll have thousands of viewers watching me. Maybe. Who knows? But it's not terrible if that never happens. It is okay. Because I do this for me. Sweet. What is that? Okay. Yeah, we've been going for 53 minutes. My gosh. That's fine. This takes a bit. Everything worthwhile usually takes a little bit to make. Except there are instances in which some of the shortest things that have taken time have gone completely viral. And one of those things of mine that I've created, I remember creating, most of you probably have seen it from not this channel, but a channel that I'm a part of, Mike and Gary. We created a very crazy YouTube viral sensation, how to be a Ninja Turtle. And oh man, I think we're sitting at 30 million views now. That was created literally in like a couple hours of an afternoon and uploaded literally the next day. We thought we'd get maybe a couple thousand views. And here we are, 30 million views later. Absolutely crazy. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of some of these hairs here. I'll probably bring them back in. I'm gonna do this. So what I'm gonna do, since I know I'm not gonna be able to bring those hairs back, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create fake hair, since this is going to take a bit. And I think this is going to be a part 1 and part 2. So I'll be doing this tomorrow as well. I don't want to keep the stream going too long, as the YouTube algorithm does not like videos that are too long, but they do like videos that are around the 40-minute mark. So I think we are doing pretty good on the stream. I'll probably go for just a little bit longer here. I'm going to cut out her, and then I'll probably cut it, and we will start the stream back up tomorrow. And we'll see how this stream does. This will be probably a 4 or 5 parter. Awful. Go some more round balloons. Right. I'm just going to take this and take the lasso tool and do one of these. Select inverse. And there we go. We have her isolated. All right, that was easy. Cool, that didn't take too long. Anyway, okay, hey guys, so what is going to happen now is I'm going to go ahead and cut off the stream. It's been about an hour and 4 minutes, and I don't want to take this too crazy long. So this is going to be part one. So what we did now is we have got our... So what we did is we've got our background layer. And so we had our layer right here, which we colored in Camera Raw, and then we took that and we created a background plate, which we're still going to be working on our background plate because we got to take out my daughter right here. So we're going to do that next time. But the last thing that we did is we created an isolation layer. So we're going to cut. So we cut her out. That way we can comp in a background that has more bokeh and things that are just going to make this look a little bit more dreamy. All right. And this is what our monster looks like so far. We're going to have to comp him in a little bit more. The depth, I wouldn't say the depth, the layer is a little bit skewed, a little bit more than I'd like. I might actually re-render it tonight just because I don't like the way it looks right here. It looks a little off. But if not, we're going to fix it in Photoshop. So everyone, thank you for watching. This is part one. Watch part two more than likely tomorrow. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you again for watching.